You'll have to just take my word about the Figgy port because this is the Bros Watch Loki. We're breaking down episode 3. As is tradition, I forgot to look up the name ahead of time. I always forget the name, so
Lamentis.
Lamentis. That's right, Lamentis.
I
Um,
remembered it because that was the moon they were on,
that's
or
right.
planet,
That's right. That's right.
which
For my money, very fun episode. This might have been this is probably my favorite episode so far. I had a lot of fun watching this episode.
yeah, they're still knocking it out of the park here. It feels like a movie set, especially the set design that they used on Lamentis. It was fantastic. This being a series, you would expect them to reuse a lot of the environments, but they're really not doing that here.
Well,
Uh,
we kind of talked about that after episode 1. When they showed us that sprawling view of the TVA, and I said, "Hey, man, this is Marvel telling us we're not playing around. Like, we're coming for it." And
yeah, they put some
and
money into it,
they
clearly.
have absolutely put some money into this. Not just with the effects, but like you said, with kind of the scenery and the sets they've been using, and much more so than WandaVision and Falcon.
Definitely, yeah. It everything fits together. You don't notice any like rough edges or anything like you can typically see. This is just a Marvel movie put in a series fashion.
And one of my favorite parts of this episode that we get right from the beginning is we get a lot of like combat, like hand fighting, from both Loki and from spoiler Sylvie. Uh, we get
That's what I noticed.
a lot of hand to hand combat with both of them, which I thought was a lot of fun, and I thought it really kind of brought something a little. We're dealing with time travel and magic and all this, but then it kind of those fight scenes kind of brought it back down to earth a little bit, and right off the bat, we get her popping up in the TVA and Loki following.
Yeah, they actually started off the episode with her doing her enchantment on the one TVA agent. She was in a bar somewhere,
Right.
doing a little dream trick, and we know as far as Loki's powers go that he can't do that. That's not in his repertoire
Right.
right now, at least.
Yeah, and I guess we can jump forward in the episode because she explains what she was doing. She says, most of the time I can just take control of someone's mind once I touch them. Most people have weak minds, and I could take control of them. But this, she explains that with people who are a little tougher,
Little
little
trickier.
stronger, she has to create like a fake backstory almost, and uses some of their memories and just inserts herself in there, and that's how she got the info um, as to how to get to the timekeepers.
Yeah, and like you said, when they get to the TVA, she actually does try to enchant one of the agents there. And I wish they would have not even shown the little animation. I wish it would have just been her like
Right.
like
But
poking him in the head.
but as we know from Loki trying his magic, they don't. Your powers don't work. If you have
Yeah,
powers,
well,
they don't
that's what I'm
work in the
saying. Like,
TVA.
it shouldn't have even had the green glow. It should have just been her like, oh no,
Yeah,
this isn't
that would have
working.
been that would have been pretty cool. Pretty
Just a
funny.
mild annoyance to
Um,
this agent.
and we don't really get many of the characters from the first 2 episodes, other than we have Ravonna. She pops up right when they're in the TVA.
Yep.
And Sylvie has Loki with her sword to his throat and says, "Any closer, and I'll kill him." And she's like, "Please do."
Yeah, like
Like,
we've been
yeah,
trying. I
like
want him
I
dead.
I don't like him.
Yeah. He's just
Yeah.
not a very nice person.
Yeah. And so anyway, so they're about to attack Sylvie and Loki hits the temp pad, and boom,
Yep.
we're just
Off they go.
we're somewhere.
Yep. And very quickly, um, a like tiny little meteorite comes through the tent as they're talking and yelling at each other, and Sylvie, which she's like, oh
She's
no,
like,
you took
"Oh
us to
man,
Lamentis.
not
It's
this
the
one."
worst one in
Yeah,
there.
she literally says it's the worst cataclysmic event.
Yeah, yeah.
And we come to find out that they are on the moon, which is Lamentis, of a planet, which
Which
has
is crashing.
it's crashing, and it looked like maybe had been hit by a massive asteroid or something,
Yeah, knocked it off
because it
of
kind of
ground.
had holes, like it did have some chunks already floating around, and that's where we're getting these kind of meteorites landing on the moon. Um,
Yeah.
you know, but anyway, so the problem now is we use the temp pad to get there. We'll just use the temp pad to get back, right? Oh no, no, no,
Yep.
my friends. Michael Waldron said not today. Yeah, so obviously the battery's dead, and we got to find a way to
Out of
charge it.
juice.
Yeah, we got to find a way to charge the battery.
And
Um,
I love the cheeky little interaction they had with this lady out in her shack.
oh, it's fantastic.
You see very quickly that even though they both fail here, it's like the same exact failure, just a completely different style, and it differentiates the two variants.
But I think we're kind
I
of
love
finding. I think kind of along. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think along that same line, as we go through the rest of the episode too, you find out that they're a lot more alike than they think they are.
Yeah, there's certain different personality traits that they don't share, but for real, like they're same but different, but same but different.
Right.
But yeah, Loki getting blasted after he tried the
husband
sob
thing.
story.
Well, and then
So
and then she's like, his ass ain't never said nothing that nice
yeah,
in 30
he was
years.
Never that nice.
Imposter. That was awesome. That was my favorite line of the episode.
Oh no. Oh, he's gone. Oh, I've lost him.
What do you
I'm
mean?
just gonna keep talking until you come back. You're frozen on my screen.
I mean,
Maybe
Can
we'll
you
have
hear-
to cut some more stuff.
can you hear me? I don't know how this has happened
No,
twice
he's
now.
gone for good.
I'm not gone. I'm here. This happened the last time on a
I
Wednesday.
guess it's just you and me.
I love
Discord.
that I have. I pay all this money for internet,
How's your
and then
day
it
been?
just
How's
doesn't
your
work.
Wednesday?
I mean,
It's been good for me.
I'm back. Have you heard me?
Getting some
Okay.
work
This
done.
is. Okay. As fans of this show know, we oftentimes have technical difficulties trying to get this shit done. But if you have cable links, you know the pain that I feel on a daily basis because I pay a ton of money for my internet, and it just randomly decides it doesn't want to work.
It's like good old bottom dollar American internet.
Just
You pay
just,
for a lot more than what you get.
just unreal. But anyways, we were at the lady in the shack, right? As they're trying to find a power source for the temp pad.
Yeah.
So my blood's boiling right now. So you take over for a minute.
All right. Well, next they start moving through the city, and there's like this tiny little village out there, and Loki sees the neon sign, and he's like, "Hey, that could be enough to charge it, right?" But like, Sylvie just goes, "Hey, hand me it. I'll get it done." And of course he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to try harder than that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that's not enough power." And then they proceed to go through the train.
Yeah. And so she basically. So I think we got mixed up because they go to the sign first and then the old lady.
First, and then they go to the the lady.
But she kind of is like, how big of a power source does it take to charge this thing? Because it's just a little tiny old thing. And she's saying
They're moving through time.
She's saying like we need something massive for this. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But how is it gonna plug into that little thing?
How do they overwrite the freaking Infinity Stones? Like,
I mean,
they
I'm just
got a lot of power.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying it doesn't add up right now for me,
Yeah.
bro.
So, well, anyway, we get the train adventure, and they have this really fun
Well,
conversation.
them
about, like,
getting on the train was fun too. Before we
Yeah.
even get to the train, because you know, of course, Loki does his uniform magic thing, but he has no idea how to improvise this conversation
Yeah,
with this guy
he
because they
just
don't have
goes for
tickets.
it.
They don't have tickets, and he changes his voice. Yeah, we called this morning, blah 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 blah. You know, and
no,
the guy.
higher up sent us or something.
Yeah, and so of course Sylvie has to save him and do her little enchantment thing.
Yeah. Yeah, good mix of their powers. Good use.
Yeah,
Teamwork.
so they get on the train and your conversation you like.
Yeah, the conversation they had about they were talking to each other about like how they got their powers. That Sylvie knew she was adopted the entire time, and eventually they get to like, well, you rest, and Loki's like, well, I'll rest my way, you rest your way.
I found that interesting because are they that close? Like, but shit, like Now she says she barely knew her mother. Is that to mean that whatever timeline she came from, um, or whatever universe she came from, uh, Frigga is her mother as well, or and she was also adopted as a so is she also a frost giant?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is
So
kind of I need
that's
some.
what I drew from it is like they're both frost giants. They both know they're adopted. It seems like the time stream is this. Oh, it's a very large thing, and like there's individual timelines inside of that. And then eventually something happens that makes one of those timelines produce a variant.
Right. And so I think one of the other things that happens in this conversation too that I found very interesting was Loki's bi. Princesses and princes, which I thought was a really neat moment. You know, I think in the comics he had a like that's where the whole Loki is gender fluid thing came from. So I think it's kind of cool that Disney gives us that little bit, and they kind of they didn't make a big thing of it.
They don't bash you over the head with it, but it's like it makes sense because like the dude disguised as anyone, he disguised as a snake and he stabbed Thor.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I just thought that was a really cool little. It's like one line of dialogue, but I thought it was I thought it was cool that they threw that in there. You know.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of hints that she might also be bi as well.
Yeah, I mean that's
even though she had a love affair with a postman.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was true or not. I had no idea if that was real.
I think it was because it's just very innocuous. Like her, she's just like, yeah, one time I have this guy waiting for me who delivers the mail, and I like him.
Yeah, like that's her Jane Foster. Like that's the equivalent of Thor's Jane.
Right.
But
yeah, so I did think, and we find out too. This is the first time we've ever. That Loki has ever mentioned like having feelings for anybody, right? Like that was the other part of the conversation, is that, and obviously it seemed like it had been a while in his long ass frost giant Asgardian life, but he kind of hints that like there was one or two people in his life that he loved, in a previous time, which is something we had never seen. We always seen Loki, like power hungry Loki, especially this. Timeline version of Loki. And then my favorite part of the episode,
singing and drinking.
Sylvie drifts off to sleep, and of course Tom Hiddleston can sing. Of course he can.
Yeah,
The guy's
smooth. He's like smooth and everything else. Why would you not think he can sing?
I mean, this kind of old English style song or party song or whatever, and then but then he breaks it down and just a delightful singing voice from Tom Hiddleston, and then he goes back to drunk cheering, and
my favorite is because Thor did the same
that's right
thing
I thought the exact same thing. That was such a neat
coffee.
That was such a neat callback.
Yeah. But they do get discovered.
Well, I mean, Loki's transmutated back into his original variant TVA outfit because, as he said, nobody cares. It's the end of the world.
Yeah, yeah. But like they don't know. They still think they're getting on the shuttle.
I mean, yeah, but so anyways, the guards come in and we get another cool hand fighting, kind of close quarters combat between Sylvie and Loki trying to work together and these guards. And I did want to bring this up. I think we've gotten a new Loki power that I don't remember seeing. The hand magic blast. I don't ever remember that popping up in the MCU.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but like I want that. Can I get
Yeah,
that?
no.
Where do we get that?
It's awesome. And that and the fireworks. The fireworks.
Yeah, little tiny fireworks.
But I was kind of like, ooh, that's new. We've not seen that one yet.
Yeah, that was a good one. Which kind of makes me think he's gonna try and not steal, but learn enchantment.
Well, of course he is. He's Loki. I mean, of course he's gonna.
He can do anything, right?
Of course
According to Frigga, you can do anything.
Of course he's gonna learn enchantment at some point. But yeah, he gets tossed out of the car, and so Sylvie has to go after him because
she's like, all right,
he's got the temp pad. Like he's got the temp pad. And of course, Loki lands right on his ass and breaks the temp pad.
Yep. Drunk Loki breaks the temp pad
to an irreparable state. And then we have to try. They have to try and figure out. Okay, we know that this moon's about to get wrecked by this exploding planet. Uh, let's steal the Ark.
Yeah, we have to get on the Ark.
Yeah,
They do make their way, and like such a big conversation happens. There's a reveal as they're walking, and the reveal is that everyone in the TVA are variants, and
was it everyone or just like the Agent Hunter people?
She said they're all variants. So to me, that means the everyone, time, because Loki says like, "Hey, stop! What did you just say?"
Right.
Because I was told they all started there. They were all created there.
So here's my take. I think all the like Hunter people. That's why they have so many, because those are all variants that. And obviously they've all been mind wiped, somehow, because nobody remembers being a variant and showing up at the TVA. So, and that also leads to, I know we've kind of talked about that there is no timekeepers, or maybe there's just a Kang left as a timekeeper, So I think that kind of furthers that, like. There's something shady going on with the timekeepers themselves.
Yeah, that's definitely. I'm still leaning in that direction.
And remember, Ravonna was kind of sketchy in episode 2 about it. When Mobius asked her, and he's kind of like, "Well, I've never seen the timekeepers," And so apparently,
and she's
the only
shamed
one,
him away from it.
Yeah, she's the only one we've seen that at least says she has some kind of communication with the timekeepers.
Yeah, definitely. But we kind of have to take her word for it, and she might be unreliable, which, we don't know.
I think everybody's unreliable right now.
Yeah, the whole lot of them. I agree.
Just everyone.
Because we can't trust the Lokis.
Not one person in this show can be trusted yet.
Yeah, that's.
Except Mobius. I do think Mobius has genuinely pure intentions for what he's doing. Trying to help Loki.
Part of the cult. He's still part of the TVA cult.
Yeah, but he doesn't know it. But he also kind of like, you get some hints in the first couple episodes that he maybe doesn't agree exactly with the way they do everything.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I think that's going to be a big reveal. I mean, it's got to be coming up soon, right? There's only 3 more episodes.
Stay with me on this one. What if Mobius is just another Loki? And he pops out of his costume. He's like, "Ha! It was me!" And then like,
that would be the fanboys would be up in arms about that one, man. There would be
I would love it. I would lose my mind.
There would be a focused internet riot, the likes of which Twitter and Reddit have never seen.
It would be so good. That's what I love.
It would be good.
Iron Man 3. That's why I liked
agree.
Iron Man 3, because no one expected that the Mandarin was just a fake actor. That was so.
I know that was great.
People were so pissed off.
And it was Ben Kingsley too. Like, you bring Ben Kingsley in, and he's doing something important, and they're like,
he's like one of the most famous actors.
Oh, it's just Trevor.
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorite moments. I know that maybe a lot of people didn't like Iron Man 3, but the swerve, with him just being an actor was magnificent.
That's one of my favorite things, and I think that's why people didn't like the movie mainly, is because they got so fooled. They were so horribly fooled that they were like, I don't like this.
Yeah. And speaking of the Mandarin, I do believe that in Shang-Chi, the real Mandarin is popping up. At least that's been the rumors.
Revealed that.
Yeah, that's been kind of and it's definitely not going to be Ben Kingsley. So
yeah.
As great as he is, I mean.
Fool me once.
You can't. Well, but you can't have an advanced age actor on in a role that you plan on carrying over the next decade.
Yeah, agreed.
So, but yeah. Anyways, back on track. We get into downtown, whatever the main city is. They're trying to get on the Ark. You hear the announcement. There's 5 minutes left, and then Loki in a bit of humanity kind of goes, "Oh my God, they're gonna let all these people die."
Yeah, he's not totally bitter. He's not totally ruthless. Like, we know that he's sparing some people. But yeah, I think it was Loki that was like, "Are you ready? Because this is gonna suck." Or maybe it was
no. Sylvie said that. She was like, "Yeah, this is gonna suck."
And then they do their mad dash.
And it was kind of cool. Again, we more combat, more hand fighting, which I've really enjoyed.
Can I just ask something? What the fuck did Loki do with that building?
That's what I said too. I didn't catch it the first time, but the second time I was like,
No.
he doesn't have
What
that
did he
power.
do?
He doesn't have that power.
He just rewound time or like telekinesis an entire.
No, I
Where
think
did
he.
this come from?
I think he did the What did he explain it as in episode 2? The shifting, in space of something, right? Like
An entire building? He just put it back. He was like, "Look, I got this," and then he's just like,
yeah. I mean, so we get 2 Loki powers that we haven't seen yet, and this one was pretty big. This was, I mean, how we've never seen him do anything close to stopping a building before.
"Yeah, seriously, that doesn't feel like our Loki, does it? It doesn't. It feels like a possibly different Loki."
Boy, I tell you, well, where was that power in New York?
That's what I'm saying. Is like,
If you can stop a falling building about to crush you, and just push it back.
yeah.
I mean,
Why
where has
couldn't you
this?
move the Hulk?
Where has this
Why
been?
couldn't you?
Where was this on the ship with Thanos?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
don't
where?
know.
Like, anyway, I did catch that the second time. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know why I didn't see that the first time, but the second time I was definitely like,
If they don't explain
buddy.
that, at least touch on it, I'm gonna be concerned. That's gonna like keep me awake at night.
yeah. So it was we got a lot of like reveals, like quick reveals in this episode,
Yeah, like rapid fire.
And so of course, obviously, the scene where the planet cracks up in the sky was really cool, like really
That was
cool
cool.
graphically.
Like
it just kind of splits and opens up like Pac-Man, and and of course the Ark gets taken out, like
Yeah.
duh.
And everyone, I love the shot of like showing the guards and the civilians
Yeah.
and Loki and Sylvie's. They're all just
Devastated.
completely defeated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, because that's where we end, and so it's going to be interesting to see where they pick up number 1. Number 2, what are they going to do?
I think Mobius is gonna figure out the next apocalypse that they went to and
Well, but
swoop in and save them.
do they have a way to, since they're using a temp pad from the TVA, do they have like you think they have like tracking software or something, where they can...
No, I think he's just gonna go through and do the same thing that
Just
Loki
figure it
did,
out.
where they were already looking through all the apocalypses. So
But how would he know?
You know?
Because they were working under the assumption that they had the kablooey. That's how they figured out they had to go to Alabama. But now, we're talking 2077 on a moon somewhere, on a mining moon somewhere.
yeah, so when you talk about time travel, things get a little loopy because it doesn't. If he went back to the TVA, it wouldn't matter how long it took him to figure it out. He could go in and out of all the other apocalypses.
Well,
and it wouldn't matter.
yeah, I guess that does.
Right?
Yeah,
Now,
that makes a lot more sense.
They're probably not going to do that because that's a little bit more intelligent, but like.
I mean, but it does, if time travel, all things being constant, but he would. But see, he would have to teleport. All right, I'm about to drop acid here. He would have to.
That's what I'm saying, is like
he would have to teleport to that one particular instance of the apocalypse, and they would have to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's enough for me today. That's enough for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, once you start saying that, like, going backward in time is allowed, then it's just everything's off the table. It doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, obviously Mobius is gonna show up at some point and get him off the planet, right? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's the planet is hurtling towards the moon. I don't think there's enough time for them to figure out anything else. They just kind of gotta hope, that someone comes and gets them.
He needs to just do what he did with the skyscraper, but like go through the planet, like push the moon through the planet.
Yeah, that would be something, huh?
It just opened up, but it was like.
Yeah, but so I did think it was weird. Like, we got basically, other than Ravonna, real quick, this whole episode was just Loki and Sylvie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
we got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good character development.
Also, so like there's always someone on Reddit or Twitter that watches the foreign credits and who the voice actors played because someone spoiled her name after episode 2. Apparently, and I think it was like the
Oh.
Dutch subtitle or something had her listed as Sylvie instead of the variant.
Yeah,
And
I always try to avoid IMDb because like literally just listing people in episodes
well,
is a spoiler.
but in episode 2, they still IMDb had her listed as the variant. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
and so this is someone who watched all the subtitle, the voiceover acting. There's always someone who does it.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say you haven't watched episode 2, and you go and look up like, oh, who's in the show, and then you see like
Well, yeah.
the variants, like
Yeah, yeah.
with
Yeah,
Sophia
that's true.
something. I forget her
Di
name.
Martino. But yeah, so yeah, I mean that was just crazy that. But so for those who don't know, Sylvie was the second comic iteration of the Enchantress, and
Oh.
Loki gave her the enchanting powers.
Okay.
I always thought that version was the first Enchantress, but I looked it up and apparently it was the second
That's
iteration
interesting.
that when they used the Enchantress in the Thor comics. Now Enchantress, from my memory, had several different things she could do, and when what's his name pops up in uh, Thor. It was the third one, Ragnarok. Um, Carl Urban's guy. He was
Scourge, right?
yeah Scourge. He was like Enchantress's like bodyguard at one point.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I could get that wrong. So if I
Yeah.
got that wrong, let me know in the
I,
comments. But
I
I'm
haven't
pretty
read any of
sure.
the comics, so I'm taking your word for it.
I kind of do that peripheral. Like they have like a whole Marvel Wikipedia deal, and I like to go through that and read sometimes, and see
Okay.
kind of where the connections are.
Yeah.
You know,
And then guess that Mephisto's going to be in the movies or show
every
for the
single
100th
episode of
time.
every show.
Yeah. That's like what the fans do now. Is like,
Yeah.
they just keep
But
getting it wrong.
but yeah, I mean overall, I quite enjoyed this. Like I said, it was a very fun episode. Even with the planet exploding at the end, it was still a fun episode. And I think this leads us to a very interesting because now they have like the TVA has to go get them, and they have to like willingly be captured by the TVA. So that's going to be
Yeah.
an interesting dynamic how they work that out.
I got no predictions. I'm just happy to watch the show.
Yeah, I mean that's really my only
I
prediction.
just want to say I still love the fact that they're all variants. That's
There was an interview or
juicy.
something, and I didn't see the actual interview. I just kind of read like a transcript of it. The lady who voices Miss Minutes
Yeah, Tara Strong.
said that there's a lot more backstory to Miss Minutes.
I hope so.
So at
Let's
some
do it.
point,
Let's get a whole episode of just Miss Minutes.
at some point, we're gonna get a reveal, whether it's a flashback or it's a just like her saying something.
Yeah.
Miss Minutes has more to do with this show than we thought.
She is the timekeeper. She's the one timekeeper.
She is Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Tara Strong's a fantastic voice actress, and she's been around. She's done like just thousands of characters probably at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting that she kind of dropped that little tidbit in an interview, like, oh, there's a little more, there's a little more.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting too to see how that plays out. But yeah, so that'll wrap us up. Episode 3 of the Bros Watch Loki. We're halfway through the season now, so make sure you stick with us. Maybe next time we won't have technical difficulties.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't think we've had one show on any of the YouTube channel yet that has had no technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So
Not yet.
that's kind of our thing.
There's always,
It's kind of our
It's
gimmick.
always the next time.
It's kind of our gimmick. So anyway, but thanks for joining us. Make sure you give us a little like, rate, subscribe down there. Check out the rest of the shows here on the YouTube channel. Yeah, that's it. Until next time. Figgy Port.
Yeah.